Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Macy Newmeister.
And I'm Jill Lampkins.
Our top stories tonight will look inside the Southeast Nebraska wildfire, what we know and how it's affecting the community.
And as we're nearing Election Day, hear from some of our reporters on who's running, along with a look at the voting process.
We'll have more later on what's happening in the United Kingdom and Ukraine,
as well as sports and entertainment right here in Lincoln.
Stay tuned. This is Nebraska Nightly.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
People across southeast Nebraska are recovering after a fiery weekend. Smoke could be seen covering portions of the viewing area. The Lincoln-Lancaster County Emergency Management asked individuals who live between 54th and 38th Street from Firth to Olive Creek Road in southern Lancaster County to evacuate the area. As the fire-threatened areas in southern Lancaster County, officials asked families near the blaze to evacuate their homes. Farmers in the area stepped in to help emergency management crews to pivot the blaze within their access to different water sources on their land. The fire has been contained since Sunday, and the cause of the blaze is reported to be a shredder being used to chop up grass and weeds at a rural property. Given what has happened last weekend, we here at Nebraska Nightly asked our meteorologist, Carmelo Ludica, to come into the specifics of what causes these wildfires. Let's hand it over to Carmelo.
Jill and Macy, 3 days after the fire, there are still hotspots that show you the intensity of this fire. There are a variety of ingredients that come together to create a wildfire. Although not very common in the Lincoln area, they are still very possible. Last Sunday, much of central and eastern Nebraska was under what is known as a red flag warning. A combination of warm temperatures, low humidity values, and strong winds are the qualifying criteria for a red flag warning. On October 23rd, the Lincoln and Lancaster County area saw temperatures well into the 80s with very gusty winds and very low moisture. Unfortunately, that has been the theme for much of this year, as 2022 has been one of the warmest and driest years on record, with the current state drought one of the worst in Nebraska's history. The lack of moisture in the soil helps contribute to the spread of wildfires because there is a lack of cooling that could potentially slow or stall their movement. There are many causes of wildfires, but in this case, farm machinery sparked the fire. It is always mindful to monitor weather conditions. Back to Macy and Jill at the desk.
Thanks, Carmelo. I think it's so important to stay up to date with what's happening with these wildfires.
Especially on really windy days like Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, was attacked at their home in San Francisco early this morning. Police sources say the suspect, David DePape, used a hammer and, according to CNN, was believed to be looking for the House Speaker while confronting her husband. Mr. Pelosi, who is 82, was taken into surgery and is expected to make a full recovery.
As we're nearing elections, there's one you might not know much about, the district's 46th seat of Nebraska's unicameral legislature. State Senator Adam Moorfield of Lincoln has represented UNL and Northern Lincoln in the legislature for 8 years, and his seat is open because of term limits. The two major candidates, while nonpartisan on ballot, both hold more liberal views. City Council member James Michael Bowers is running on a platform of greater access to mental health services and more resources for minority communities. While former state senator Danielle Conrad is focusing on the child tax credit, she says it will make families stronger and more secure.
I bring not only the experience that I have, but I bring the experience and the stories of the tons of children and families that I worked with that is often missing from policymaking. And we need to have more people who have had that working on the front lines and in the trenches, and we need less people that have spent a career as a politician.
I don't need that on-the-job training. I have that experience. That's why I am positioned to be a day one leader in the legislature, not only for North Lincoln, but for Nebraska. And that's why I entered this race. So I wish my opponent the best of luck. I'm glad to have worked with him on a lot of issues over the years and still consider him a friend. But I think what's really important to remember is the experience is distinguishing.
And in national politics, here's the 6 states you should watch out for this midterm election. Each of these states has multiple competitive races that will determine control of the Senate, the House, and state governments. They include the 5 President Biden flipped in 2020, plus Nevada. What happens in these states could impact issues across the country, like abortion rights, like abortion rights, economic policy, education, and the climate crisis. Looking closer at the U.S. Senate, Republicans are currently favored to win with 20 seats, Democrats 12, and 3 seats rated as toss-ups. And in order to control the U.S. House of Representatives, a party must hold at least 218 out of 435 seats. Republicans are currently favored to win at least 212 seats.
And in case you didn't know, we'll be keeping you up to date with live coverage on election night.
That's right, we'll be covering the races right here in Nebraska, including the governor's race, congressional districts 1 and 2,
as well as following the legislative races, Board of Regents, and State Board of Education races.
Now let's take a quick look at weather with Logan Howard before we head to the break. Logan?
Thank you so much. So as you can see, even with the rain that we had earlier this week, for the month of October here in Lincoln, we have only had just about half an inch of rain. And adding up for the entire year, that's only just short of 21 inches. And that is a total of 6 inches below average with what we should be having this time of year. Taking a look at our drought monitor, which was just updated yesterday, we can see that the majority of the state of Nebraska is in severe to extreme drought, which means that we are having immense effects on agriculture and our lakes and rivers in the region. For an updated forecast, stick with us after the break.
To me, democracy means that even the little voices have a say.
To me, democracy is having your voice heard and power to the people.
Well, staying on the topic of weather, it's been beautiful outside these past couple of days.
It really has, and it looks like in our further forecast, it's going to be even nicer for the rest of the week. Carmela Ludica with the rest of our forecast.
Jill Macy, I thought I'd start us off with our game day forecast as Nebraska looks to take on the Fighting Illini tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. For our kickoff, we're looking at a temperature of 68 degrees and sunny skies. South-southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but overall it's going to be looking for a beautiful game day forecast. And by tomorrow night, we're looking at temperatures in the mid-50s. If you take a look at the almanac for today, we're right around average for this time of year, a little bit above average for a high, 4 degrees above average. We're nowhere near that record high of 84 degrees set back in 1922, but it is all around beautiful day. Let's take a look at the surface map across the country. We can see there's not a lot to talk about. We have high pressure located over our region that's given us the sunny skies and a boost in our temperatures. Potentially early next week, we could be looking at some low 70s. But right now, currently in our area, we're looking at mid-60s right now, 64 degrees, south winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then into tonight, we're going to cool off a little bit into the lower 50s, 53 to be exact, southeast winds at 0 to 5 miles per hour. And then tomorrow morning, it might be a little bit chilly, but we are going to warm up quickly for that game day. And we're looking at minimum temperature of 38 degrees come tomorrow morning. As our 7-day forecast rolls around, we can see we're looking at low 70s by early parts of next week, and we're looking at 70s generally until the end of next week before a cold front moves through. So this is well above average for this time of year. Before we head back to the desk, I thought we'd take a look at the winter outlook, and we could see for temperatures in the Nebraska and Lincoln region, we're looking at equal chances of above or below normal, and then for precipitation, equal chances as well. So Jill Macy, if you're looking for more snow than we had last year, we can't really tell yet if it's leaning one way or another. It could be bad or it could be good, but we don't know as of yet.
I am really hoping we have extra snow this year. I love the snow and cold weather.
I like snow, but only around Christmas time, I think. So
Thank you, Carmelo, with that weather outlook. The Lincoln The Lincoln Airport is currently undergoing a 35,000 square foot expansion to its terminal and facilities. The airport management hopes the upgrades will encourage direct travel from Lincoln and that more airlines will choose to do business in Lincoln.
The increase in passengers we saw in 2019 was definitely starting to be that push of, hey, we might have options to maybe get more airlines, but now we're starting to see airlines interested again in coming back to Lincoln.
The $56 million airport upgrade will include general repairs, 2 new gates, full TSA, pre-check availabilities, and new food and drink options in the terminal. Completion is expected to be around the end of 2023.
In international news, after Liz Truss resigned as Prime Minister in the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak has been formally appointed by the King to take her place representing the Conservative Party. On Tuesday, during his first speech as Prime Minister, Sunak said the UK is in a, quote, profound economic crisis. Analysts say Sunak faces a major challenge in that regard, partially due to the mistakes his predecessor, Liz Truss, made during her brief term. Sunak addressed that issue, saying Truss's oversights were not of ill will and that he admired her efforts to bring change to the country. Sunak is the first Hindu and person of color to serve as British Prime Minister.
Ukraine's capital is facing massive, unprecedented power cuts after Russian airstrikes devastated one of the country's main power plants. Western officials believe Iran is supplying its drones to Moscow, and that Iranian military experts are on the ground helping the Russians with technical support for these drones. The targets are Ukrainian infrastructure, damaging the country's electricity and water supply. Ukrainians are being urged to use electricity sparingly as the energy officials try to prevent a complete blackout. Moscow is denying using Iranian drones, as Ukraine says around 400 drones have already been used by Russia.
Kanye West, stay with us.
I'm so sorry.
Don't let it happen to other Big Ten schools. Go to saveourdinos.org to learn more.
Toilets can use 5 to 7 gallons per flush, making it the main source of water use in a home. You can lose more than 20 gallons of water a day from a single drippy faucet. Kitchen faucets use about 1.5 to 2 gallons per minute, whereas older faucets use more water. Wasting water is wasting time. Stop water waste now.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got some news on rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, claiming he lost $2 billion in a day on Wednesday. This happens days after the rapper made anti-Semitic comments, causing brands like Adidas to pull out of multi-million-dollar deals. The artist also got dropped by his talent agency, with social media companies like Instagram and Twitter restricting his accounts. On Tuesday, Adidas officially cut ties with the artist. Forbes reports Ye is dropping from billionaire status, and Adidas is a brand that sponsors many universities. Now, Creighton University in Omaha is following suit after Adidas' decision. A Creighton spokesperson told the Omaha World Herald the university would no longer be playing Kanye West music at their athletic events. We've reached out to see if Husker Athletics see if they'll be doing anything, and so far there has been no response. I think it will be interesting to see if the university does anything. I know the university plays a lot of Kanye music, and I love Kanye music, but I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a situation they'll have to really figure out how to handle.
Absolutely. Well, here's Nathan Hawkins with sports.
Thanks, Jill. The Huskers are well rested after a bye week following their loss to Purdue. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll see if they're also well prepared with the matchup against 17th ranked Illinois. Nebraska hasn't taken down a ranked opponent since 2016. That losing streak stands at 19 games. Interim head coach Mickey Joseph praised the Fighting Illini's run game and physical defense as the Huskers look to end their woes against ranked competitors.
We got to match our opponent physicality. And starting this week with Illinois, Illinois 17 ranked team is a well-deserved ranking. They have a really physical rushing game with Chase Kitty. Chase Brown Kitty's a really good runner, but they're really good on defense. You know, they top in the country in every category. They have a really good scheme. They're well coached and they stick to their guns. So this week, you know, we're going to need our fans on this one. We're going to need our fans to be loud and help us out a little bit.
The Huskers sit at 3-4, and fans are certainly looking at 3 more wins to make the Huskers bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. But another question surrounds Mickey Joseph. What will it take for him to get the job? Joseph said it's not his decision to make, but he knows if he wants the job, he must get some wins.
I'm not going to make the decision if I get the job. I'm not going to make the decision. You know, that's going to be the administration that's going to make the decision if I get the job or not. So I got to just continue to get this team to get better every week and try to win football games.
Moving on to volleyball, the Huskers entered a pivotal week of action. The volleyball squad jumped in the rankings to become the #1 ranked team in the country. In their first test atop the country came against a familiar foe, Wisconsin. The two squads competed in the national championship last season, and Wisconsin prevailed in a 5-set thriller. The Huskers entered Madison looking to get a bit of revenge against the 5th-ranked Badgers. First set, Becca Alec riding her hot streak. She destroys the overpass for the Huskers' point. Alec is the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week, but her 6-kill first set wasn't enough as Wisconsin took it 25-23. Second set, neck and neck down the wire, and Whitney Lonstein, she bats it down to knot it up at 23, but the Badgers took the next 2 points to take set 2. Third set, Wisconsin trying to put the #1 team in the country down early, and Sarah Franklin gets the kill. A match-high 21 kills from Franklin, and frankly, Wisconsin was the better team on Wednesday night. They win it in straight sets. You can see here Becca Alec had another stout performance. She's firmly in the running for Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Wisconsin, meanwhile, extends their winning streak against the Huskers to 9 straight games. Moving on to basketball, the exhibition game, the Huskers took down Shattern State 87-60. The good news, they came away with the win. The bad news, 23% three-point percentage. Juwan Gary, 23 points, and Sam Griesel, 14 points in the outing. Next up, Husker soccer got a nice surprise. They thought they played their last home game of the season, and they needed 3 straight results to go in their favor to come away with another home game, and they all happened. So Huskers with another home game this season against Ohio State. Here's more from Logan Eby on the soccer team.
Nebraska's women's soccer team is hosting a match against number 25 Ohio State to begin the Big Ten tournament. We were able to speak to Coach Walker and goalie Sammy Hauk about their season.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, the nerves have definitely not really hit, but as we get through the week, it's definitely getting to be more excited.
They've been a fun group to work with. I think the nice part is they're open to learning. I think they recognize the one thing they lack is experience, and so they're open to to learning. They're meeting with our sports psychologist just on dealing with in-game moments, like the difficult moments in game, and that was something that they wanted to, wasn't anything suggested by me or anything like that.
Before the season, a lot of analysts didn't have the Huskers performing as well as they did this season, knocking off ranked Penn State earlier this month.
We've come a long way throughout the season. I mean, if you would have asked us that we were going to be top 4 in the Big Ten before the season started, I mean, we would have been mind blown.
Well, I think the first thing is I thought we would be fair, like a decent team. I really felt we could be in this position and maybe an extra couple of wins, So I felt this is a team that has the potential to make the NCAA tournament and finish in a strong position in the conference. And they just have stayed the course. They've taken a few hits along the way. The schedule is, such an incredibly difficult schedule. But resilient would be the key word.
Reporting for Unlimited Sports, this has been Logan Eby.
Well, it's a jam-packed Hollow weekend ahead for the Huskers. We'll see if they can come away with some Hollow wins.
That's absolutely right. And you know who's going to their first Husker football game ever?
That's me.
Macy, are you excited?
I am excited. I am really excited to go see the game tomorrow and get the fan experience and the whole deal.
Well, maybe you'll be their good luck charm tomorrow.
Maybe. I guess we'll have to see. Coming up, we'll have a look at entertainment, talking about a haunted bike ride, trick-or-treating opportunities, and some fun and music.
Stay with us.
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting crueltyfreekitty.com today.
To me, democracy means that even the little voices have a say.
To me, democracy is having your voice heard and power to the people.
Thanks for sticking with us. Well, as Nathan said, it's Halloween weekend, so you got any fun plans?
I don't actually, but do you have any fun Halloween plans?
I do. I'm going to be Cruella de Vil, so should be pretty fun.
Here's Reed with entertainment.
A monster. But have you ever wanted to experience that rush for yourself? Well, now you can at the Lincoln Halloween Night Ride. This spooktacular boosicle ride takes you on a Halloween-themed bike ride of Lincoln with multiple haunting spots along the way. The ride is this Saturday, October 29th. More information can be found on lincoln.org. Everyone loves trick-or-treating, and you can enjoy the activity with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. UNL is hosting a Greek Street Trick-or-Treat, where kids of all ages can visit the campus's fraternities and sororities for some tasty treats. The event is today, Friday, October 28th, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Looking for some music fun this weekend? The band Outline in Color is performing at the Royal Grove at 6 p.m. tonight. Fans can dance the night away with friends and enjoy food and drinks of any sort. Tickets are $20.
I think it's totally awesome that they're doing the trick and treat with the Greek life.
Yeah.
I might have to go stop by after this.
And the boo-tacular thing, like, what's more fun than that? That sounds amazing. Well, thank you for sticking with us. This has been Nebraska Nightly. We'll see you on election night.
Live from the University of Nebraska College of Journalism and